afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the December Adelaide Capital digital newsletter. It's been a pretty exciting month. We had our Ag Tech event in the middle of November, which was really successful. We had 5 companies presenting at a keynote with Steve Hansen from Raymond James. So yeah, check that out on our replay channel, on our YouTube channel. Vic, what's been going on with you?
Yeah, I mean, we've had, conference season just kind of wrapping up. I think the last conference guys were attending was the SNN conference. So a bunch of guys were busy with that. The markets, have been selling off. We've seen some tax loss selling. So hopefully that will start clearing up soon. But we're really looking forward to 2022. And we're interested to, kind of get a bit of a year-end recap from each of our companies that are on today and just hear quickly what they're looking forward to next year.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, we had a new company sign with us over the past month, which is Highmark Interactive. And they're actually going to be the first update we get. We did a full webinar with them yesterday. So anyone that's new to the story, please feel free to check that out. Let me just move Sanj over to panelist. We'll introduce him and maybe he can give us a quick summary. There he is.
Hey.
Nice to see you again.
Be the newsletter without some technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's great.
It's your inaugural one. So yeah, do you want to give us a quick summary of Highmark?
Sure. So we are a digital health company. We build software that is used in rehab clinics, physicians clinics. Our software focuses on mental health and brain health, collecting both qualitative and quantitative metrics that enable us to provide real data, real-time information about patients that promotes and enables better clinician management and better patient outcome. We also run a network of real facilities and virtual facilities through our software through Central Canada, and we're actively growing that network as well.
Great. And you recently listed on the TSXV under the ticker HMRK, I believe. Maybe you can give us some of the upcoming catalysts that investors can expect in 2022?
Yeah, so 2021 was a fantastic year. We closed 3 acquisitions of financing and just went public. And we expect 2022 to be even more impactful and exciting. We've got a robust M&A pipeline that we're looking to bring to market. We have begun work with the Mayo Clinic, and that collaboration picks up speed. We'll be able to bring our product to market in collaboration with the Mayo to a much broader market in the US. And we have a number of deals that are similar in sort of structure and size. So we're excited to share those with the market. And as you've recently seen, we're continuing to build momentum in the NCAA, in the sporting world, in elite sports, and starting to make headway in through the broader sporting market. So we'll see more of what we had in 2021, along with increased corporate sales just based on our funnel and based on what we're seeing through the sales pipeline. So more organic growth, more growth through acquisitions, and more focus on mental health and brain health.
Great. Well, it sounds like you've got a lot on the go. Thanks for giving us a quick update. And yeah, anyone looking for more information, feel free to reach out. We can set up a one-on-one or check out the webinar we did yesterday. Thanks a lot, Sanj.
All right. Have a great morning.
And congrats on a successful listing.
Thank you.
I think next up we have Akiba Leisman, CEO of Mako, who's also going to give us an update on Sailfish. Hi,
Hey.
Akiba. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, Deb.
I believe you're just down at site a little bit ago. So maybe you can give us an update on both Mako, what's going on there, and Sailfish.
Yeah, that's right. It was, I guess, the week before last. I was down in Nicaragua. Everything's looking great. For everybody that isn't familiar with the Mako and Sailfish story, San Albino, the highest grade open pit mine in the world, declared commercial production on July 1st. So we just reported our first full quarter of commercial production. The mine was still in ramp-up mode. We were only operating at about 429 tons out of our 500 ton per day nameplate capacity, and only operating at about 84% of mill availability. I'm happy to say that after a lot of tweaks to our plant, really since the end of November, we've been operating at a net basis, so inclusive of availability factors, in excess of 500 tons per day. So we're right now operating this plant at nameplate. We're about 80% done with our replenishment of inventories and spare parts, which is going to help a great deal out of getting our availability to levels that we want. And the mine is behaving wonderfully. The grades that we're pulling out of the mine are higher than what we estimated in the resource. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll put out a life of mine reconciliation report just to show everybody how well we did the resource. So right now I couldn't be happier on where we are from an operational perspective. Now, the big thing about that visit, it was really the first time that I had a chance to take a fairly substantive look at some of the new concessions that were granted to us during the pandemic in 2020. La Segoviana concession to the northwest of our plant, as far away from the mine as 21 kilometers, but it does abut our property. It is very, very clear that there is potential to be a near-term mine over at La Segoviana. There's occasional small-scale mining in the area with friendly individuals who were able to tour the underground workings that they were doing now. And it's clear that this has the potential to be exactly what we said to the market it would be. This is a burgeoning orogenic gold mining camp that does have the potential to house millions and millions of ounces of gold when all is said and done. So everything is kind of going according to plan. Couldn't be happier with our team, how they've handled some very challenging times over the course of the last couple of years, while this mine was getting up and running. And now it's really the first time that we get to show everybody just how profitable this operation is. So I couldn't be happier with where we are right now.
Right, and what does this all mean for Sailfish?
So Sailfish has two investments, if you will, with Mako, right? So the first was a 3% effective stream on the primary San Albino area, and a 2% royalty on the concession package that existed in 2019. So not including La Segoviana and the Puerto Rios concession, which we just received a permit for over at Mako. So that stream is paying out nicely. It has an annual run rate of approximately $2 million. And then likewise, Sailfish also has a gold loan, which is currently repaying to the tune of 205 ounces per month. I believe 3 payments have been made to date, and then that's there to kind of buttress and support the best-in-class dividend policy that Sailfish has, which is now approaching close to a 5% yield. But that is really there as kind of a holding pattern until the big event will happen. Sailfish also has a 3% royalty on one of the largest undeveloped gold mining assets in Nevada, which is currently owned by a private equity group out of Canada. So this is the Spring Valley asset. Currently, there exists a 6% royalty on that deposit. We have half of that, 3%. The other half is owned by a Cisco. We are just waiting for the moment where a mid-tier major decides to raise their hand, saying, you know what, I would like to have a 5 million ounce near-term development asset in the best mining jurisdiction on the planet. And we're pretty confident that a mid-tier major will be raising their hand in fairly short order. And once that happens, everything changes with Sailfish. In terms of the assets that are currently within the portfolio right now, it far exceeds kind of where we're trading at from an intrinsic value perspective. And then likewise, we're still in the process of spinning out our silver exploration assets, the Gavilanes property, into a new vehicle called Swordfish Silver. Right now, all the paperwork is done. We are waiting on rounding out financing of at least US $5 million. Obviously, the markets have been very challenging for small silver explorer and development goes. So hopefully in the new year, the markets can open a little bit. We're not going to do anything that will impair the trading or the market positioning of Swordfish, but as soon as we're actually able to round up a pretty strong book from outside investors, this will get spun off in fairly short order.
Okay, great. Talking about La Segoviana, you mentioned that you thought it could be a second small scale mine. Would you be using the same facilities that you built, or how would that work in terms of where would you do the processing?
Yeah, I would say like everything that's within a shallow distance from surface is potential to be open pitted. I would say the principal driver of the geology over here allows for these to be relatively shallow dipping structures, very similar to what we have over at San Albino. And if that's the case, we'll open pit and then effectively truck to site. Now, I will correct you. I don't actually think the potential for these things are going to be small scale mines. Now, there are small miners there. The largest across our entire 188 square kilometer land package is probably pulling out about 5 or 6 tons per day of ore. Usually it's less than 1 on average for some of the small scale miners in our area. But by having friendly small scale miners over there, you actually can go underground and start looking at the morphology of the veins, start piecing together how some of these workings are fitting together in a district scale. So without drilling, I mean, we haven't put a drill hole in La Segoviana yet. We're not permitted to do. Hopefully, we're going to be getting permits very soon in the new year. But just by having access to the underground workings, you can start linking together pretty substantive strike and dip potential on these deposits. This is not a small scale opportunity. I actually do think what we have over at Segoviana in and of itself can be pretty material when all is said and done.
Okay, great. And just in terms of catalyst for 2022, continued production at San Albino, exploration at San Albino, as well as Las Conchitas and Puerto Rios. What else can the market expect from Mako?
We're going to show that this is going to be one of the most profitable, relatively small scale mines at 500 tons per day. We are doing everything within our power to get Las Conchitas up and running so we can be mining that simultaneously by the end of next year, and then eventually expand our plant to 1,000 tons a day. And I can say almost without a doubt, we will be announcing a discovery. It's at one of our 2 or potentially even both of our new concessions at some point in calendar year 2022.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the update, Akiba. Look forward to the bench reconciliation and upcoming exploration and production results.
Okay. Great.
Happy holidays.
Okay, and our next speaker is Ken Dentremont from Medexus Pharmaceuticals. Hey, Ken, how are you doing?
Hi, Victoria. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So you guys provided an update this month on the NDA resubmission for treosulfan with the FDA. So I was hoping you could just walk us through the process moving forward and then let us know what the new timelines are going to be.
Sure. So the Type A meeting was held a few weeks ago. We're pleased with the outcome of that meeting. It basically gives us the plan for resubmission of treosulfan. And that resubmission, we believe, will go in calendar Q2, so early Q2. And then it'll be up to the agency to decide whether it's a 2 or a 6 month review. So worst case scenario, we should be at a decision point by October of next year. And then assuming a positive outcome, we go to market shortly thereafter. I mean, as everybody probably knows, for us, that's a significant advancement. Treosulfan has the potential to more than double our revenue. It's a $100 million US potential peak sales asset, which, you know, will more than double the 80 million that we're currently doing.
And then I was also hoping that you could provide just a quick year-end recap on Gleolan and how it's been doing since you commercialized it in Canada earlier this year.
Yeah, that's a good question. So Gleolan is doing extremely well. We're really pleased with the institutions that are picking it up. As everyone knows, access to institutions has been challenging through COVID, yet we've got really strong sales. And so in the early going, very positive. The key institutions who are where the opinion leaders are using the drug, and we're expanding to additional institutions as we go forward. So it appears that our uptake is good in comparison to launches throughout the rest of the world. Our partner Photodynamic is demonstrating to us that, in fact, even in COVID, we're doing, you know, a really good job. The uptake has been really strong in Canada as compared to other launches throughout the world.
And then I know that we already talked about treosulfan, but any other catalysts that we should be watching for in 2022?
Yeah, I think the whole organic growth of the base business is an important factor. You remember, we've got $80 million US of current revenue, which we reported last year. We've been doing the reset on the Ixinity inventory in the US, and we're basically at the end of that. We do see the monthly volumes picking back up towards historical levels. So I think sequentially, quarter to quarter, investors are going to see growth in our organic business as we go forward. So that'll be an important factor. And then obviously we continue to do business development. We have several late stage deals that we're working on. So we hope that sometime early in the new year, we'll be announcing some new business, which will further build the portfolio.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds great. So we'll watch for that. Thanks for being on, and I hope you have a happy holiday.
Happy holidays. Thanks for having us.
Up next, we have Cameron Groom, CEO of Microbix, who's going to give us a bit of an update. I believe they're putting out their Q3 numbers next week. So he may not be able to go into too much detail because I believe he might be blacked out. Also, his screen appears to be blacked out. Cameron, can you turn on your, there you go.
I'm here. Just going through a few things, just settings. Yeah, that's great. I certainly won't, you're quite correct, Deborah. I won't talk about our numbers. We're working to close out our audited Q4 results for the year ended September 30, 2021. And those should be released the morning of the 23rd of September, along with the filing of our annual information form. Well, of course, financial news release, financial statement, CEO message, MD&A, and AIF. I do encourage folks to read those materials. If you want to take a deeper dive, there's quite a fulsome description of the business, particularly in the AIF, that is the core disclosure document. Really should give a sense of where we're going with the company. Operational activities, we're very much focused on increasing the capacity and extent of automation for both our QAPs, our quality assessment product test controls, as well as our viral transport medium. And that involves finalizing, build out, and equipping of our 235 watt line site. That's site number 2 for QAPs, and our third site at 275 watt line for viral transport medium. And those builds are going to take us to 5 to 10x current scale for both QAPs and BTM. So to capacity range of 50,000 a week for our quality assessment products and about 50,000 a day for our viral transport medium, each of which would support a business on the order of $4 million per month each for those businesses. So that's sort of what we're gearing for currently, and why we have a reasoned optimism for continuing revenue growth and gross margin dollars, net income.
Great. Well, 2020 and 2021 were both monumental years for Microbix. Maybe you can give us a little bit of flavor for what investors can expect in 2022.
Sure. We're looking for continuing double-digit growth in revenues. Quite strong revenues is what sales growth is what we're targeting for 2022. I think we've spoken about our top line for 2021 being in the high teens in terms of millions of dollars of revenues. And, we're targeting in the $25 to $30 million top line range for fiscal 2022. And with continued continued growth in the proportion of revenues derived from medical devices, the innovative proprietary and branded medical device products that we're developing and selling, we see the margins continuing to inch higher, and that has some very good bottom line effects, even as we're necessarily strengthening the infrastructure we have to be able to support that growth. And that doesn't just include automation and physical space. That includes the control systems, LIMS, ERP, electronic quality management systems. All of those are being put in place to support a much larger scale of business as we continue to grow.
Right. Well, sounds like you're busy. And I understand you're going to take a little bit of much needed holiday.
Well, going to try to. Well, we need to get, of course, Q4 out the door, and then take a bit of a breather. At that point, there's a period where we will shut down production a little bit over the Christmas period, and it'll be a good break for all of us. Everybody's been working really hard for shareholders over here.
Okay, great. And I know the targeted release date is next week. What day are you expecting to put out the?
Absent any last minute tweaks to numbers, we're targeting the morning of December 23rd for Q4 number release.
Great. Nice little Christmas gift for shareholders.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Cameron. Happy holidays, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Thank you very much, Deborah, and to you as well. Take care.
Up next, we have Gary O'Connor from Moneta Gold, who is going to give us a little bit of an update on what we can expect in 2022. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Hi, Deborah, and thanks for the opportunity to give everyone an update on Moneta Gold and our plans for the coming year.
Yeah, I think it's actually been just about 1 year since we first spoke, Gary, or first did a webinar together. And I think you've gone from something like 2 million ounces to 8.5 in the past year. So looking forward to what you got planned for the next year.
Yes, no, you're correct. It's been a very busy year. So you're right. We went from about 1.8 to 8.4 million ounces in the last year through both organic growth, new discoveries, reconstituting, some of the large open pits, and through acquisitions. So we're looking forward to another exciting year next year. We just finished a 72,000 meter drill program, 130 drill holes, and that is all geared at resource expansion, extending resources, connecting resources, and modeling resources that were already drilled out. So that's been completed. We're finished the logging. That's all gone in for assay. So once we have those assays back, we'll put a resource together in the new year. That should be completed, late Q1. We'll then wrap a PEA, an updated and expanded PEA around that. That's an economic study, which will give the market some good guidance on the size of the project, the valuation, the production, and that will all be early, in the first half of next year. So we're looking forward to it. Yeah, another exciting year with a good flow of news from the drilling, the resource update, a PEA, and then we'll roll straight into a pre-feasibility.
Exciting times, and having a domestic asset must be, interesting right now with all the M&A that's going on. That seems to be very targeted on North America.
Exactly. We've seen a significant amount of M&A activity here in Canada. We're located in a very good location. We're right in the middle of the Timmins Gold Camp. It's Canada's most prolific gold camp, and we're now developing what is one of the largest undeveloped gold projects in North America. And there's been, premiums being paid for such assets. There's good valuations being attributed to them, and there's a number of companies, that are looking to acquire assets, expand their gold resource base in such a good location and good jurisdiction. So we're feeling very confident moving forward.
Nice. Well, either way, you've got a lot of catalysts through drilling and updates, and as you move into your pre-fees, and so looking forward to following the story into 2022.
And we're looking forward.
Oh, sorry. Appreciate the update, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Yeah, you too. And we also look forward to another productive year. So thanks for the opportunity, and to all our investors who have been supporting us. Much appreciated.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Up next, we have somebody that I don't think we've ever hosted before, who is George Resnick, who's CFO of Tantalus. We've had Tantalus on the newsletter and done a number of webinars for them. Typically, we have Peter Londa, CEO, but I understand he's tied up today. So George is going to give us a bit of an update. Hi, George. How are you doing?
I'm well, Deborah, and thanks for the great to be here to provide an update regarding Tantalus.
Yeah, great.
Pete sends his regrets. He's currently representing us on a panel discussion today, which is hosted by the United States Energy Association to discuss how the recent stimulus funding will support significant investments by utilities into their grids, which represents a huge opportunity for Tantalus to transition the utility grid infrastructure with our solutions. As you know, we're a technology provider of smart grid solutions to the utility industry. So great. We're just really at a exciting place in the real transformation of our energy globally, and looking forward to providing an update.
Great. And I believe the company listed close to the beginning of 2021, and you've had quite an exciting year. Maybe you could give us a little teaser on what to expect in 2022?
Yeah, no, exactly. This year was very busy, and going public and uplisting TSX and raising over $20 million Canadian. But some exciting announcements. We recently, this past quarter, announced our analytics solution. It's a software as a service offering that leverages the data that our smart grid solution obtains from our customers and provides a real enablement for this AI solution to proactively mitigate risks while optimizing performance for our utility customers' grid infrastructure. And in particular, it allows the utilities to pinpoint specifically issues with their infrastructure that can lead to outages, fires, or other damage to infrastructure. And we're seeing this throughout with climate change and preservation of energy and continuity. And so really important. It's been very well received. Pretty much out of the gate, we have an initial 6 customers who are active using the SaaS subscription offering and seeing the value right away. And we have over 20 demos that are leading to pilots. So really a lot of momentum out of the gate, which is exciting. It's creating a lot of value and allowing utilities to mitigate the risk and optimize. And so as we said, it's well positioned and an exciting part, and really see that scaling into 2022 and beyond.
Great. Well, I appreciate the update. Nice to meet you, George.
Yeah, and then I got a couple other things.
Oh, sure.
Just
Yeah,
quickly,
go ahead.
No worries. Just wanted to highlight what we're doing in an important area with the emergence of distributed energy resources, Deborah, and also the electrification of everything, and in particular, the proliferation of electric vehicles. And this is a major challenge for utilities on their grid distribution. And we're really well positioned to provide with our deployments and our SaaS, our analytics offering, to really provide this. We just recently had our annual user conference, which was the most well attended in the history, with over 400 attendees from over 100 utilities. And we had a survey, and the strong feedback was utilities have a significant urgency to address this. They need to manage when the EV chargers need to be activated, what time of the day, the peaks and loads. And there's real stress on a traditional grid system that candidly needs transformation to be multi-directional and to accommodate this big surge. And it's coming, and it's coming in spades, not only with EVs. So we've got our solutions deployed, the data that's compiling, and able to help utilities manage and get ready for this. So that's very exciting into 2022. And then the other thing just to highlight quickly is tying into the funding that we're seeing in our primary market in the States. We're seeing significant investment from US government in infrastructure upgrades. This ties to the EV, it ties to the providing internet accessibility through all communities. And we've actually, like to say, through the American Rescue Plan, through COVID-19, we actually have one of our customers, a utility in Utah, who's actually been approved to receive funding. And we're supporting our customers to get access to this funding to frankly transform their grids for the 21st century and beyond, which is exciting. And the final thing really to highlight is the momentum we made over the year. We've continued to increase our customer base at a very good cadence. We're well over 200 utility customers now, and a very strong momentum coming into this next year with some of the macroeconomic and industry trends really in our favor. So in addition, we're working on some very strategic M&A opportunities to augment our organic initiatives. So if you just stand back up, 2021 was a year of lifting to go public and to drive forward with these initiatives, but 2022 and beyond are very exciting, and look forward to providing an update and wishing you and everyone all the best in the holiday season.
Thanks, George. I appreciate that. Yeah, 2021 has been a busy year for Tantalus, especially with the capital markets. I believe that you have 3 or 4 analysts covering the stock now, a successful IPO and uplisting to the full board. So
yeah, we've actually got 5 analysts now covering, and a lot of interest. So it's changing and increasing as we gain continued momentum. So thank you, Deborah, for your support, and look forward to providing an update in the new year.
Great. Well, nice to meet you, George. Happy holidays. See you again soon.
Great. Thank you very much.
I think our last contestant, once again, is Joe Hamilton at Unigold. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Very well, Deborah. Thanks for the time. I think we might have to change the name to Aardvark Enterprises or something, so I can go first on some of these things. But
sometimes we switch it up, go reverse.
Always
order.
good to have the last word.
Yeah, give us an update on what's going on in the DR.
Oh yeah, by all means. We've been relatively quiet for the last 4 months, I think. The last press release we put out talked about hiring a new chief operating officer. Gord Babcock joined us. The press release prior to that was completing an equity issue to a couple of what we consider to be strategic partners in the DR. So both of those things were in this quarter. And I'll just elaborate a little bit on that and what that means for us next year. First of all, remember this year, Unigold delivered a much larger resource estimate for sulfides on the project, completed a PEA on the oxide portion of the project, did a significant amount of drilling, as well as a lot of technical studies. At this point, starting to turn that into a feasibility study so we can get prepared for construction next year. What we've done in the last quarter is we've now got the government on side as far as the permitting is concerned, and our terms of reference for environmental study are in. And those should be approved shortly so we can get going on the environmental work and the social license to operate in the area. Gord Babcock joining us. Gord's got significant experience in Latin America over the last 25 years. He's going to spearhead the feasibility study and development work and start to put together that construction team and production team that we've got. In the meantime, Wes Hansen's completed a fairly extensive compilation of all of our regional work. And what they intend to do there next year is start drilling some of our regional targets. So I'm quite excited about that because I think we have the potential to find another couple of million ounces in the immediate vicinity of where we are. So we're setting ourselves up nicely for next year and for what I think we can deliver next year.
Sounds good. Sounds like you have a number of catalysts coming. And I know we always talk about stock price and valuation, but it's always just so relevant to Unigold where you're trading versus the resources that you have and the potential. It just strikes me as always a bit of a disconnect. So hopefully 2022 is the year where we can close that valuation gap a little bit.
Well, it's one of those things that I get in every investor meeting that I'm in and has been this way for the last 2 or 3 years is the concept that it doesn't matter how many ounces that you identify on your projects, you're never going to get a permit to operate anyway. And I fundamentally disagree with that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be there. I think it's possible to get permits. You need to get communities on side, and we have great community support. The community wants to see a project go ahead. They've said that repeatedly. They'd like to see the jobs that come into the area. We've got great support there. The government in the Dominican Republic is also supportive of a small project like our oxide heap leach project in order to introduce the community to mining. It's got a small environmental footprint and should be relatively profitable. Those things are what get projects going in countries that don't have a mining history. And I believe that over the next 15 to 20 years, the Dominican Republic is going to have a large number of metallic mines. It's certainly the entire belt is pregnant with copper and gold showings. But without any history of mining, it's difficult for people to believe. So our job is to make them believe by showing that we can get the permit. And I fully expect that to happen in the first 6 months of next year, that we'll be able to get the exploitation license, after which we will have to table feasibility and environmental studies in order to get a license to operate a mine, which of course requires other permitting after that. But the first step is the exploitation license, which gives us 75 years of tenure. So once again, it may be a forward-looking statement at this point, but I'm fairly comfortable that we'll be able to deliver that in 2022, and then we'll be able to move to production shortly thereafter. So I'm quite excited about the possibilities, and a small market cap just means great opportunity as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed. And I think getting that permit will go a long way to showing the market that it is possible to permit in the DR.
Yeah.
Great. Well, appreciate that, Joe. Looking forward to 2022. Happy holidays.
Same to you. And thanks for your help this year. Hopefully next year will be a watershed year for everyone in the mining market and for the gold price as well. So let's see what happens.
Let's
Thanks,
hope.
man.
We got to get through the rest of tax loss selling, which seems to just never end this year. But I am pretty positive on metals for Q1 and Q2. I think Vic's going to join me for the close. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe.
So one thing that Vic and I forgot to mention at the beginning was we actually have lost Tina. over the past month, which is unfortunate. She was such a good partner to both of us and to the firm. So she's gone on to go into investment banking on the sell side. So we wish her all the best.
Yeah, it's a sad news story for Adelaide, but we're so happy for Tina and we wish her the most success in the future. So
yeah. So if you're wondering
she'll
why
still be
there's
kind of around.
if you're wondering why we're down a blonde, if you can tell the difference between the three of us, that's why. But we've got Jessica, who's a really strong partner. We've been hiring on the social media side too. So got a really strong position and really strong staff going into 2022, which I think should be an exciting year for us and for everyone, hopefully. And yeah, just wanted to say happy holidays to everyone. Appreciate your support throughout the year. And yeah, looking forward to next year.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone. I hope that everyone has a good break. I think we're closing our office for a few days right around Christmas, and we hope that you're all closing yours too.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have the never-ending COVID cycle of 24-hour-a-day emails slow down.
It would be nice to have the never-ending cycle of COVID in general slow down.
I know.
So yeah,
2022.
Yeah, have a good break, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.